This podcast contains discussions of mature themes, including violence, which may not be suitable for all audiences. Please proceed with caution. Listener discretion is advised.
Well, I'm Mrs. Voorhees, an old friend of the Christies. Oh, my Lord. So young. So pretty. Oh, what monster could have done this? Oh, God, this place. Steve should never have opened this place again. There's been too much trouble here. Did you know that a young boy drowned the year before those two others were killed? The counselors weren't paying any attention. They were making love while that young boy drowned. His name was Jason. I was working the day that it happened, preparing meals. Here, I was the cook. Jason should have been watched every minute. He wasn't a very good swimmer. We can go now, dear.
I think we should wait for Mr. Christie.
Oh, that's not necessary.
I don't understand.
I am Jason. You see, Jason was my son, and today is his birthday.
Where's Mr. Christie?
Oh, I couldn't let them open this place again. Could I? Not after what happened. Oh, my sweet, innocent Jason. My only child. Jason. You let him drown. You never paid any attention. Look what you did to him. Look what you did to him.
Hello, Mommy. Hello. Don't let him in.
I won't.
Welcome everybody to Dark Talk. I'm your host Dan, and I'm joined by my bros Paul and James. How's it going?
Very good, thank you.
Very well, thank you.
Summer's here at last.
It is, and we're inside doing a podcast.
I know, yeah, we should be doing this from like the garden or something.
Or the lake itself.
Or the beach.
Ooh, I could just podcast from a little dinghy on Crystal Lake. That'd be pretty sweet with a crate of Budweiser.
Ooh, not Bud though, Stella, I'd say.
Yeah. Too much for me. Anyway, how are you guys? What have you guys been up to?
When did we last... Well, we podcasted last week, didn't we? So not actually that much, to be honest. Apart from, well, I ordered the first 8 of these films on Blu-ray. I thought I'd treat myself because I can't remember the last Friday the 13th box set that we owned, or I owned, and it's been years since I properly sat down and watched them. So yeah, last night was the first time in years. What about you?
Again, it's only been a week, so I haven't been up to much really. I watched This City Is Ours over the weekend. You know, that Scouse gangster.
Yeah. Do you like it?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I think I could have come up with a better ending, but otherwise it was pretty good. Yeah.
Have you watched it, Dan?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, it was okay.
I loved it because there was no like cheesiness in it, really.
I don't know. Every time he's making eyes at his wife, his girlfriend, I was just like, "Oh, just hurry up! Come on, we know you love each other."
Yeah, that's not like cheesy though, is it?
I want to see some gunfights and some shootouts and all that. But yeah, it was quite good, and I really, really dig James Nelson Joyce. I think he's awesome.
Yeah, I've heard he might be the new Bond.
He's a shout, yeah. He's a shout.
Yeah.
I think though, if they don't choose him, he'd be a good Bond villain.
Yeah. Well, he was in that with a Bond villain, wasn't he? Sean Bean was a Bond villain way back in the day.
Yeah. He actually looks a bit like Vincent Castell. Castell.
He does, doesn't he?
Castell. Yeah.
I really liked Sean Bean's son in that. I thought he played the dickhead character like so well. Well, he wasn't not over the top, and do you know what I mean? Obviously his character was like annoying and stuff, but he played it like fucking perfect, I think.
He did, because I couldn't stand him, and that's exactly what we're supposed to feel about that character.
Yeah,
like Joffrey.
Like imagine being his mate in real life.
He was a complete fail son. He's only got where he is because of his parents, you know, and how many times have they bailed him out because he's just such a dumbass. But yeah, guy I really liked in that show was his henchman, the Bonehead.
Oh yeah, he's the best character. He's got the most scouse
with that
hair
fucking scouse perm. It was awesome. I loved him. He was so good at that. Every time he was every time that he was on screen, I was just smiling because all his lines, and he was just so funny.
Fucking ace funny.
Go on, lad, fucking shoot him.
Oh, that one. Oh yeah, fucking. I thought you were on about James Nelson Joyce's mate in it.
Oh, Banksy.
Oh no, I liked
with the curtains.
Banksy. No, I liked him as well.
Yeah, Banksy.
Yeah, he was great. He was my favourite character.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, he was
Just
great.
like old reliable, old trusty, isn't he?
Yeah. I've also I watched this probably a month ago or something like that, and I was waiting for James to be on this to talk about it. But I watched Severance as well, which
the TV show, yeah.
Yeah, it's really
Did you
good.
like it? Yeah, it's fucking sick, isn't it?
At first, I was like, where can they go with this? It's like, it sounds like it's such a problem solver for people who work in that. And then obviously it does go places with it.
Yeah,
and I really enjoyed it. Like,
Thingy's good in it, isn't she? Chris. Oh my god, what's her name?
Patricia Arquette.
Patricia Arquette.
Yeah, she
So good.
quality. She's always been good though, hasn't she?
Have you watched any of it, Dan?
No, I've not seen it yet.
No. You wouldn't have seen her in Nightmare on Elm Street 3 either, would you?
Yes, the one Nightmare on Elm Street film I have never seen.
I don't know why I make that joke. I haven't actually seen 4 and 5.
I don't know where this joke comes from because I haven't seen 5 and 6. They're the ones I haven't seen, but for some reason you just needle me every time. Oh, you haven't even seen Nightmare on Elm Street 3?
I think once because I was like telling you how good it was or asking you what you thought, and you just weren't really responding, and I was like, oh, you mustn't have seen it then. And you were like, no, I have. I was like, nah, you can't.
I think it came to like, I think it was we were talking about which was the best Nightmare on Elm Street film, and I said, oh, it's definitely 1, but most people say 3, and I think you must have asked me, oh, what's your favourite bit from Nightmare 3, and I was like,
You were like, what? There's a third one.
Yeah. So I can't wait to watch that film for the first time next year when we cover that series.
Yeah, no.
But in the meantime, let's get on to this series. This is the. Would you say this is the king of horror franchises, the big one, Friday the 13th?
No.
For me, I don't know. Michael Myers is like where my heart is, but I don't know. I think I watched these films more when I was younger.
I know Halloween is your 2 personal favourites, but do you think this one's like, this is like the most mainstream franchise? I think that's what I mean by the big one.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
No, I'd say Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger is probably way more known than Jason.
Oh yeah, maybe.
I'd say even Child's Play is bigger than the Friday films. Like Chucky is.
No.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we'll find out, won't we? Because we've got 13 episodes or so of this. I think it's about 12 episodes. Is it 12 films?
12 films, yeah.
12 films. We've got 12 episodes to see what we think about this franchise. So, starting at the beginning with the first film, we'll get into it. Gents, we're here tonight to talk about Friday the 13th from 1980, directed by Sean S. Cunningham, starring Adrian King, Harry Crosby, Peter Brower, Kevin Bacon, making a return to the pod, and
friend of the pod,
Betsy Palmer, friend of the pod, and Betsy Palmer as Mrs. Voorhees. So, who wants to go first? When did you first see this film?
I'll go first if you want, because mine's probably pretty quick. I saw it when I was about 14 or 15, and that was the first time I'd ever seen it. And then I saw it again last night for the second time I've ever seen it.
What?
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Really?
It's not a film that I ever bothered with because Jason wasn't in it.
Yeah, I can understand.
I had part 6 as a kid, as a very young kid. I think I've spoken about it before. My mum got me 2 video VHSs with Jason Lives and I think it was Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And so I watched Jason Lives like over and over again. And then when I was probably about 10 or something. And then a few years later when I watched the first one and Jason wasn't in it, I was like, And weirdly as well, I watched this last night and I was like, I remember this film being in black and white, and I always thought it was until last night. I was like, what the fuck?
Really?
Yeah, maybe I watched a black and white version or on a black and white TV, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. That'd be pretty sick to watch,
That would
actually.
be
I think that'd be
fucking
quite...
good, yeah.
I'd really like that. There are a lot of films that people do watch in black and white. I think somebody did a black and white recut of The Mist a couple of years ago,
Nice.
and apparently it makes the film, like, much better.
Yeah.
I like that film anyway.
I went through a phase during lockdown, actually. I was like mega into black and white photography, and I was watching stuff in black and white because you just turn the saturation down on your TV, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay, so this is almost the first watch for you, Paul, really.
First watch with my mature eyes, I would say. Yeah.
Nice.
James, I think you and me have got the same origin story when it comes to this film, because we... did you want to tell the people?
Well, I don't actually remember the first time I watched this. We had it on video. Is that what?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
I don't think it was the first Friday film I'd ever seen. I think part 3 was the first one I'd ever seen.
No, because I remember this now. Because this is one of the things that's for some reason seared in my brain. Like, I forget to pay all my bills, and I forget, like, all kinds of shit, you know. But so for some reason, I remember the order of VHSs we bought the Friday the 13th films in. So we would buy them in batches of 3. So the first ones we had was number 1, part 4, and part 6, Jason Lives, and we watched the hell out of them. And then I think our mum would order them from like a mail order catalogue or something.
MVC.
Because then we got something like that. And then we got part 3, part 5, and part 8. And these are the ones that we used to like hammer.
Yeah.
We had part 7, part 9, and Jason X on DVD.
DVD, yeah.
We never owned part 2 at all.
I've never seen part 2.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's one of the ones that we never. Well, we'll talk about part 2 next episode. But yeah, it was one of our least seen part 2. It's one that we never owned when we were kids. We owned them all except for part 2.
Yeah.
But even though we had this one and we would chain, constantly watching the Friday the 13th films every single day growing up, we would very often skip this first one because there's no Jason. So it's, because we were kids, we want to see Jason fuck shit up, and this one doesn't have it.
I remember watching this fucking loads when I was a kid. I loved it. I thought it was so scary. I can't remember how old we were. How old were we when we watched it?
You wouldn't have even been 10.
Yeah.
I think I was about 12, something like that.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'd have been about 11, 12. Yeah. God, fucking some of the shit that we used to get away with. Right, should we get into the film?
Let's get into the film.
Let's talk about the film.
The amazing credits.
Well, let's go to the pre-credits first. So we get a cold open on the full moon, and we pan down to Camp Crystal Lake, which will be the setting for these films for the next 8, basically. All the way back in 1958, and there are some camp counselors singing some religious hymns with the guitar. Sadly, they don't sing Jeff Buckley's Hallelujah.
Or any of the...
We got our first...
Sorry, do you remember the books that we used to have in primary school? Songs of Praise, 1 and 3?
No, it was Come and Praise.
Oh, was it? Come and Praise. The blue book and the green book.
Yeah. You only got to use the blue book once you were in year 5 and year 6.
I wonder
It's like a ranking system for the kids.
Oh, yeah. I've got them here on...
Are they those ones with like the Andy Warhol style pop art covers?
Yeah.
Yes, sort of, yeah. You can Google them later on. And just...
It's like a photo of the kid and then it's got like a blue multiplied layer over it.
I think there were 3. There was like a green and yellow, there was a blue and light blue, and I'm sure there was like a maroon and cream one. Anyway, it's good.
Yeah. Right, hold on.
Sorry,
before you carry on, I'm looking at it now. I remember when everyone would be singing, I'd just be staring at this front cover, looking at the kids, thinking, "What the fuck is going on with these kids? Like, what is their story? What are they doing?"
Okay, so this is where we get our first of many rip-offs from Black Christmas and Halloween. Literal POV shots. POV shot of all the kids sleeping in the bunk. So 2 of the camp counselors during this what would you call it? Guitar session?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 2 of the camp counselors during this sing-along are absolutely eye-fucking each other, and they blatantly sneak off to fuck. And the girl is like, hey, somebody will see us. And I mean, yeah, they will, because you've just been eye-fucking each other all song, and you've walked off holding hands together, kissing. I think people are going to be able to piece together that puzzle. I was like, fucking, you're not exactly subtle. The guy is a bit of a player, and he asks, the girl asks him, does Mary Ann kiss as good as I do? And he just replies, how would I know?
Yeah. And then, what's the next one that he says? She's like, oh, I thought you said I was special. He's like, I meant everything.
This dude is a player.
Okay, mate,
POV shot of the killer interrupting their shag, and the guy gets stabbed in the belly. The girl tries to escape, and you don't see how she's killed, but she is. Because the kills are confirmed later in the film. And we smash cut to this gigantic black and white Friday the 13th logo, and the music here is absolutely epic. Just
so
absolutely
fucking good, isn't it?
I love this shit. What?
After watching these titles again, it freeze frames on her, she's like screaming at the camera, and then the title is like a black screen then, and then the title like comes forward, doesn't it? Smashes the plate of glass.
Yeah.
The shock.
Yeah, very 80s. Yeah.
But like after watching that, I was like, damn, I want that Friday the 13th logo as like a big statue in my house. You know, because it looks like they're made out of... It looks like it's made out of stone or something, like it's been carved.
Yeah. Get yourself a 3D printer and just get that...
Yeah, shit. Yeah, right.
A bust of that on your living room.
Yeah, I'm sure Rizzy will love it.
Yeah, we're having guest round. James, we're having guest rounds. Put the Friday the 13th statue away.
Yeah, not even like a Jason statue, it's just the words.
Yeah. Music by Harry Manfredini. Just what a brilliant score, and it lasts pretty much throughout the entire franchise. I love it. I just think I think the soundtrack to this film is so important to the entire series. Like, it's in every film pretty much, and it wouldn't be Friday the 13th without it. Fucking love it. Can't praise it enough.
This was the first time I'd watched this film and actually like thought the soundtrack really, really, really reminded me of the score from Psycho.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So much of it, and especially the opening titles was literally just like watching Psycho.
It makes me think of Psycho, but it also makes me think of Jaws.
Yeah.
That's what the film was influenced by mostly. Although it was made on the success of like Halloween and stuff. It was heavily influenced by Jaws, as in not showing the killer much until like the very end, and the music. And apparently it's like reverse Psycho when you know who the killer is at the end. Psycho in reverse.
Yes.
But speaking of the music, like this for me, as I say, like as a mature person now, well, mature, an older person, and I'm heavily into music and making music and stuff, and the production of music. Like, I don't think I appreciated this as a kid. I know it's in all the other films, and I saw the other films when I was older and that, but I've never really, really listened to the music in this film as much as I did last night. And I was listening to it in the car earlier on while I was driving, and it's fucking mental. Like those like quick violin. It's either a violin or a cello, but like those quick little draws are just like so mental. It's frantic,
isn't it? Isn't it? It's fucking so good. It's like one of the scores. And then I was thinking like, do I prefer this or like the Halloween score and stuff like that? Ooh, like,
I think on a personal level for me, I have done many a time, been listening to the Halloween score while driving around, because I just think it's that badass. I wouldn't quite do that with this, so I personally prefer the Halloween score. But then that's not to take anything away from this, because this is just fucking great. Great work.
You do that, and then sometimes I'll watch all the opening titles to all the Friday films just because I love the scores so much. I don't know, but yeah, it's fucking
wait till we get to part 3 in that disco track.
Hell yeah, even better.
Can't wait for that.
I would say I prefer the Halloween score, but I think this is like actually more scary in the film. Like this, when you hear it, it just comes out of nowhere. Those like really sharp, screechy sounds, and it's like oof, yeah.
And also the. Or would you call that more of an accent?
That's part of the music, yeah, definitely. It's the guy who made the music saying "ke" and "ma," because he's saying it's kill mummy.
Yeah. Oh right, okay.
Kill mummy.
I had heard that was
kill
Betsy Palmer doing that, but I'm not entirely sure how accurate that is.
From what I've read, it was the guy who did the whole score did it with his own voice. So.
Harry Manfredini.
I could be wrong.
Not Paul Van Hoven doing the gorilla noises, no.
So we begin the film proper, and we're in small town New Jersey on Crystal Lake, which is, I don't know if the town's called Crystal Lake, but obviously the lake is called Crystal Lake. Roughly 20 or so years later, putting this film at about 1979, 1980. Some of the stone buildings in this town look like proper rural North Wales where we lived, and I was like, oh my god, I've been there. I didn't realise there are buildings old looking in America, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really love the vibe of this film.
Yeah.
I love the setting of it, the atmosphere. Yeah, we meet Annie, who is a hitchhiking young girl. She's travelling to Camp Crystal Lake, which was the site of the pre-credits murders, to start a job as a cook. She walks into one of those weird sort of places that they have in America, which is like a newsagent diner. It only exists in these sort of places, you know, like these rural towns.
And in like Castle Rock and all that.
Yeah. She asks for directions to Camp Crystal Lake. She is offered a lift by Rex Everard's character, who is a truck driver. And it's here that we meet Crazy Ralph for the first time, who is our... he explains that Crystal Lake is cursed and anyone who goes to the camp dies, and Ralph is the A1 prime archetype for those horror movie characters that we all know. You know, the harbinger, you know, in always warns the teens off, says don't go there, you know, here's the old legend, blah blah blah, and then
The doomsayer.
inevitably the doomsayer. Nobody listens to them, and then the teens all end up getting killed. But yeah, I think Ralph is I'm not sure if he's the first of this sort of character. I can't really recall anybody else in any films that we've covered or anything off the top of my head.
You have the barman from from My Bloody Valentine.
Ah, yes,
shit.
that came out after this, didn't it?
All I could think though is I'd love to see these two in a film together, like just going around different towns, like spooking kids and warning them.
The chronicles of
That role's parodied quite a bit though, because it's parodied in Cabin in the Woods. That's literally one of the prerequisites for the plot of Cabin in the Woods. And in South Park, there's the guy, Mr. Starch. You don't want to go down that road. That guy.
Yeah.
Do you want to know an interesting fact about Crazy Ralph?
Yes.
yes.
He's got a wife. He's married.
What, the character?
Yeah, the character's got a wife.
Who's his wife?
No, you don't know. But later on, when that cop turns up looking for him at the camp, the cop's like, he's like, his wife gets all anxious and he gets a week in jail.
Oh,
It's like,
shit.
I forgot about that.
Like, what is his wife doing while he's out doing all this shite?
What? I don't remember that line, really.
I do.
Yeah. She says, yeah, he's married.
She's probably at another camp doing the same thing.
Yeah, probably.
What's he getting a week in jail for though?
Oh, they'll
Harassment.
just throw you in jail for
Disturbing the
anything.
peace.
And he's just fucking mad, isn't he? He's just doing everyone's head in. I mean, he doesn't deserve a week in jail for that, really. Yeah, so despite dismissing Ralph as crazy, the truck driver actually explains the history of the curse of Camp Crystal Lake, and he urges Annie to quit and go home. So he's just as much as like...
I really love the truck driver in this. I think he's like just plays it really well. I've got in my notes, actually, I've written down, I love the point of view shots in the truck. And then I was thinking, maybe they just didn't have enough money to build a rig to put the camera on like the front of the car or anything. But later on they do shots like that, so I don't know why they didn't do it here, but I'd much prefer it.
Yeah, I like the way it looks as well. Yeah, because you don't see them both in the car at the same time, in the truck at the same time. Yeah, really good. He explains about the two kids that were murdered in 1958. So I assume that's the guys from the opening. There's a bunch of fires. The water is bad in 1962, and most significantly, a boy drowned in 1958. So remember that detail.
57.
About the camp. Is it 57?
57, he says.
Oh, yeah.
He says.
Oh, yeah.
He says it in the wrong way, though. He says it backwards. But I also love about the scenes the fact that it's not just... He's not like, oh, yeah, a bunch of kids were murdered then, and then the next year 2 other people died and stuff. It's like more stuff that you would be... Oh, like, and the water went bad. It's like a sign rather than somebody...
Yeah. He doesn't even explain what he means by that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's I love that, because if it was like, oh, the boy drowned, then these 2 people died, then this, and this. It's also quite nice that after those 2 kids were murdered, it's not been open since then.
Yeah. Builds up the legends.
Yeah.
And, the bunch of fires and the water went bad. You don't know if those fires and the water going bad are the handiwork of... we'll get...
Yeah,
Mrs. Voorhees, get to that in a bit. You don't know if that's her, do you know what I mean? That could just be like a curse because the land is cursed because because of all the horrible shit that's happened there.
Yeah, that's what I like, because obviously when the councillors go there, then they're like... Because if you went somewhere and you were like, loads of things keep going wrong, it just puts you in that mindset. I don't know, I just like it rather than it being like loads of kids have died there. Cause...
That's what it is in the later films, isn't it? It's basically like, oh, it's Camp Blood, it's where all the murders took place. There's no ambiguity to it,
Yeah.
Less is more.
Absolutely.
Right, so this happens a bit later in the film, but I'm just going to go into it now because we're on the subject. So the truck driver drops Annie off, and she gets picked up by another driver, because he only drops her off halfway. I think he says, like, I'll take you to the crossroads, which is about halfway. And he gets picked up by a Jeep. Remember the Jeep. We don't see who the driver is, just a POV shot of Annie in the passenger seat, and she is talking the head off to the driver about how much she loves kids and a boring ass life. And I was expecting to see, like, you know, that meme of the guy's hand on the steering wheel with the bulging veins. Like, no wonder she was fucking murdered. Yeah, so they drive past the entrance to Camp Crystal Lake, which clues Annie into the fact that something is wrong. And this is where the menacing soundtrack music jumps in straight away. Dun, dun, dun. Confirming to us, the audience, that something is indeed wrong. Annie realises she's in danger, and she leaps from the Jeep and sprints through the woods. And the music here is fucking great. It's like, just when she's being chased up the road and into the woods, I was like, oh my god, that is fucking terrifying. It's great.
Even before all that happens, I remember watching it as a kid, when she gets into the Jeep and then she's like, oh, I'm going to Camp Crystal Lake. The fact that it never cuts to the driver and you just see it drive off, it always used to freak me out. Always.
Yeah, it's very spooky. Yeah.
Like, you know, there's no like nod of, oh yeah, sure, I'm going that way or anything. There's just nothing. It's scary.
Yeah.
Annie gets caught by the killer, who pins her up against a tree and cuts her throat, which I think was meant to be quite a shock at the time, because I think you're sort of led to believe that Annie's going to be the main girl.
That was another Psycho type nod as well.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
So, obviously, spoilers for Psycho, to anyone who's listening. The film that came out in the 60s or whatever. The main character, or who you are led to believe is the protagonist, dies about a third of the way into the film. And the point of this, Annie, is it Annie?
Yeah.
Annie, yeah. The point of her character is that you're supposed to be led to believe that she is going to be the protagonist or final girl, but it's supposed to be a shocking death that happens like pretty early in the film. And it is quite like, it's like, oh fuck yeah, I thought she was going to be the one, you know? Because it's like focusing a lot on her. It's a lot of screen time for a girl who just gets killed.
I wish she was the main character, because
we'll talk about the rest of the cast in a sec. Yeah.
What did you reckon of this death scene? Because I thought it was pretty damn good. You know, the Tom Savini special effects. I think they were pretty brutal.
I think it's pretty good. I would say, I'm going to just divvy up the death scenes now. So there are death scenes that they do go full effects on. Then there are like another 4 death scenes that they just sort of cut away and you only see like the aftermath, etc.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, out of the 4 that they really focus on, which we will get into, this is my least favourite.
Really?
Yeah. It still looks good, but it's definitely my least favourite of the I can only think of 4 where they go all out on the practicals. So this would be my least favourite.
Did you also notice, and I'm sure you did, the shirt that the killer was wearing?
Yes.
The plaid shirt. It's like orange and red, I think it is.
Oh, I've got a lot to say about that plaid shirt. Don't you worry. Once we finish the film, I've got a big theory about this film. I might have told you before when I'm pissed, but yeah. But remember the plaid shirt.
Yeah, okay. I'm interested in hearing that.
So we're introduced to the rest of the camp counsellors, Jack and Marcy and Ned, who are driving into camp, accompanied by some fucking hillbilly getaway music taken straight from that bar scramble scene from My Bloody Valentine.
I was meant to Shazam that.
It just made me think of The Simpsons, like Homer and Grandpa. It's like, Jason won't stop chasing us till you turn off that getaway music.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I like it. They arrive at the camp and they meet Steve Christie, who's been fixing up the camp. He's inherited it from his parents, who owned it in like the 40s and the 50s. He's fucking trying to chop up this tree stump in the shortest denim shorts I've ever seen on a man.
My note is literally sexy Steve Christie. That's it.
I think he's a bit weird, to be honest.
I mean, no, he's very fucking weird.
He's digging up this tree stump and he asks the new arrivals to help. He's like, help me get this tree stump out. And I must say that the ease in which they got this tree stump out of the ground really, really annoyed me, because I've spent like the past 2 years like digging up tree stumps and shit from my garden, like moving soil, rocks, and it is much more difficult than what happens here. Like they just like tip it over lightly. It's like, oh, it's out, and I was like, it doesn't fucking work like that. It takes days to get those things out. So the counsellors in this film, and basically our cannon fodder, is Annie, who's the cook who hasn't arrived yet, the hitchhiker who is dead. You got Kevin Bacon's character, Jack, and his girlfriend Marcy. You got Ned, the Joker of the group, quote unquote. Absolute fucker. More on Ned in a bit. You got Bill, the quiet dude, who doesn't really have much to do, but there is something I thought about him later on, but we'll get to that as well. And we get Brenda, who is definitely the absolute coolest one of the group. She's fucking ace, Brenda. That's my favourite character, I'd say.
Yeah.
And I like them all, because you can imagine they all got like a personality, and you can imagine what their life was like outside the film. You know, they've got like their reasons for being at the camp and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah.
But what were you going to say about Steve and Alice's relationship, James? 'Cause this is where we have a very odd, kind of an unsettling scene between the two of them now. That was just a bit creepy.
It's like something just doesn't gel right, does it? And he's like, she for some reason, well, I assume it's because of him, but I'm not sure. She's like, oh, I don't really want to be here, and he's like, oh, come on, like stay for the week, and if you don't want to go, and he's
like touching her face as well.
Yeah, he's like touching her hair, and he's like looking at her drawings, and he's like, oh, you're very talented and very pretty. Yeah. Like, who the fuck says that? I was just going to say, one of my notes I've got written down here is like, Steve Christie was like, do I really look like that? And obviously it doesn't cut to any other thing, but I was imagining if it cut to it and he was doing goatee.
or if it cut to it was that Whistler's mother from Mr. Bean.
Yeah, he's like, do I look like that? And she's like, you did last night. Just sat in the window doing that.
Oh god, goatseed.
Is this to make him like the red herring because he's obviously creepy?
Is it? Yeah.
He's a bit older than them.
Yeah.
And then he leaves while this is all while everything starts happening. Is that what the intention was? Because I don't know whether it's because I knew that he wasn't going to be the killer. Spoilers, but I didn't know if that was implied or not, or whether it's
that's a good point. Actually, I think maybe because I know.
Okay, let's get into the red herring. Let's get into who the suspects are then. Okay, because it's not quite a whodunit, but the film does have these little subtle moments where it implies that certain people might be the killer. So I could only think of three. So the first one was Crazy Ralph. Like he's like the crazy dude in the woods, could be him. The second one, I think you're right, is with Steve Christie. So there's a few things. There's one that he's a bit odd with Alice. I think they've slept together and she drew him while he was asleep. That's what I took from that. And he's been a bit weird about it. And she's just like, I feel uncomfortable with this, I'm going to go, and he convinces her to stay. And I think maybe you're meant to think that it could be him because he drives the same Jeep as Mrs. Voorhees.
Yeah.
If you notice later on.
Yeah.
So they don't frame it that way. It's just a subtle thing. I think you've got to be really watching, paying attention to notice it. So it's not like they're trying to make him
I've never
suspect.
got that vibe from it before.
Yeah,
but I know what you mean
and
now.
The third suspect, quote unquote, I think is meant to be Bill because when he kills that snake with the machete, he's meant to, he stares off, and I think he's meant to have a bit of bloodlust, and he hasn't really got a point to being there, and he's a quiet dude. And another little thing later on in the film is when it's just Bill and Alice and they're running around, every single person's got those bright yellow rain marks.
Yeah.
But his is like blood. He's the only one who's got like a blood red one, and I was thinking, is that like some sort of little visual clue? Maybe it's just me making stuff up. And there is another thing with Bill that I was thinking that is definitely them trying to say that he's the killer, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that bit. I don't want to. It's jumping too far ahead.
I thought you were going to say the cop for your third one then, because he appears for almost no reason apart from looking for Crazy Ralph.
Right, okay.
Oh no, he's not looking for Crazy Ralph, is he? He's looking.
Yeah, he is.
He's going to see what they're up to.
No, he says he's looking for Ralph.
He is looking for Ralph, yeah, but he's also like he's fucking such a straight arrow.
Yeah.
Colombian gold, man. You kids better not keep your noses clean.
You'll be hearing from me if you don't. We're going to stand for no weirdness out here. And they all just start laughing at us.
There's a funny bit where Ned is like dressed as that Indian. He's like, oh, and he turns around, he's like, go shit. And then you've got like Kevin Bacon like dicking around with his bike, and he's like, get your hands off that bike. And he's like, well, you been smoking, son? And he's like, no, don't smoke, causes cancer. And he's like, you know what I'm talking about, boy.
But it's like when he's like, I'm looking for somebody, a guy named Ralph. He's like, oh, he's crazy. He's like, Ned, he's like, oh, there's no crazy people. I burst out laughing when he did that. His fucking accent is so funny. But
I really like Ned in this film. I've got to be honest.
Yeah, me
he reminded
too.
me a bit of me. Like how...
No, I no, not at all.
I like
Not
all
at
of
all.
them. I really do.
Yeah, so this is why I don't like Ned, because we get to see the teens dicking around the camp, and this is where I started to hate him, because he's just an absolute dick, because Brenda's there at the at the archery field, and this fucking arrow flies past, like, missing it by inches, and I was just like, oh, you fucking gimp, like, I'd knock him out if he did that to me.
That arrow was shot by Tom Savini.
Was
Was it really?
Yeah, and I absolutely 100% not surprised, because... Come on, Sex Machine, you know what Tom Savini's like, with that fucking whip in From Dusk Till Dawn. Jesus.
Fucking mental. Yeah. So later on, when they're all at the old swimming hole, he pretends to drown and falls into the river, and he causes everybody to jump and like fucking rush to his aid and get him out, and then like they drag him out, and even then he keeps up the pretense until fucking Brenda's starts to give him ass to mouth. Oh, sorry, mouth to mouth. No, but you know what I mean? He's just after a kiss. Like, that's fucking sexual assault. Like, Frank's is dangerous.
The other stuff I like, but that's very...
Yeah, that's not cool. It was probably okay in like 1979, but...
So Alice becomes the victim of Ned's next prank when she discovers that he's placed a venomous rattlesnake in her cabin. No, there is a snake in the cabin though, and the entire group enters, and in a scene that really pisses me off, they chop up this snake with a machete. Like, they killed this snake in real life, the bastards.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even some random snake, it was like a performing snake. Like, it used to like ride unicycles and shit, yeah.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
No, but it was like a snake. It was like some guy's pet that he has been in loads of films. I haven't got its IMDb.
The owner of it was on set as well, and they just like murdered the snake in front of him, and apparently he was like super upset, crying and stuff.
Shit,
which
fucking would be.
Which you would be, because that's your pet. Yeah. Imagine if someone did that to your dog. Or your cat.
Yeah, imagine if we've got a cat on stage. We put this cat on and it needs to be murdered, and they just chop the cat's head off. Fucking bastard. Yeah, so I'm going to assume that was Tom Savini's hand that did that machete, because he seems like the type of person to behead a snake in real life. I'd open up this podcast to a lot of lawsuits for anyone that listens to it. Sorry,
no fucking.
I love you really. So it's Bill that kills the snake, and I think that's where you're meant to think that he's a bit dark, and he might be he's a red herring. Not that it matters, because nobody fucking. Nobody's a suspect in this, really. No. I'm just going back to the order my notes are in. So my notes go into the bit with the cop now, which we've sort of talked about. So I'm not going to go back into that. But I do like... I've written here that I like the scene. It's just a small bit of character development where everyone's having a laugh, and it's really fun watching these fucking stoned teenagers have to deal with the law when they thought they were, like, free to do whatever they want.
So I've got a note written down for the copper as well. So obviously he's there, and then he's like, but I'm not going to stand for any weirdness out here. And then he starts riding down the thing to turn around. But I was thinking,
they're all holding in their laughter.
Yeah, they're all like laughing at him. But I was thinking, imagine if he just like kept riding into the lake. I was just, oh god,
that's fucking one of those Tesla cyber bikes that Elon Musk promises. Oh yeah, it'll be able to be a submarine. You'll be able to ride it over the sea. Yeah,
but
okay, sure.
I don't know whether it'd be funny if it was on purpose or actually by accident. He was like, right.
Just deadpan, right straight off into the sea, into the lake,
like Skinner walking into the water, and then when he's chasing.
He's like some sort of non-giving up cop guy.
Oh god.
So back to Alice, who is in the kitchen when the cop arrives and leaves, and she finds Ralph lurking in the pantry. Like, how long has he been sitting in the pantry in the dark on his own? Like,
do you reckon he's looking for booze, or it's just?
It's just weird, isn't he? So,
he plays it so well, though.
Yeah, I do like he's. There's something. His performance is so like it's not smooth at all. It's really stilted and jarring. It's like how a person like that talks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
He's he warns them that he's a messenger of God and that they're all doomed if they remain at camp. Ralph rides away, and we don't see him again for the rest of the film.
But we do get
until the next.
We do get the longest shot of him riding up. It's obviously so long.
Pedaling off into the lake after that cop. I swear to God, him riding that bike, he looks like he's on a penny farthing, like one of those giant wheels.
It's funny because like he rides off, then it cuts to like Alice and Phil going back into the house, and then it just like cuts back to. I don't know why they hold it for so long. I wonder if it's to be like he actually goes away and doesn't come back. I don't know. It's
I think they would just try to pad out the runtime because there's not a lot of material that you can do for a film like this.
There's a scene later on that it seems like they're just padding out the runtime as well. We'll get to it later, but
I think there is.
I can think about 3 or 4 that are coming up. Yeah, so the film really sort of like kicks into a bit of a higher gear now when the sun goes down and Neddy is watching Jack and Marcy make out, and are they trying to imply that he's jealous? Like, not of Marcy, like he's just jealous because he wants a relationship. And it is quite a good performance. He sort of like he sort of huffs and like walks down and is almost like, oh, I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life, which he is.
A bit like Crispin Glover's character from Part 4.
Yeah, can't wait to talk about that. No, he's a shagger, Crispin Glover, in that film. Yeah, so Ned becomes the first victim when he, in a really, really unsettling sort of scene, he sees somebody entering an old abandoned dormitory, follows them in, and he is never seen alive again. And I fucking love how scary this looks. It's like it's like an old episode of Goosebumps, but it's just like actually scary. I love it.
So I bought, like I said, I watched it on Blu-ray, and that scene where he looks and you see, or you think you see, a figure walking into the cabin. I actually paused it last night, and I swear, and I sent you both a photo earlier, that it is actually Betty Palmer.
Right, okay.
I swear it is, yeah. And obviously we've only ever seen them on video, well I have, and I've never ever been able to see anything that clearly. But it's pretty cool they used it actually for that scene.
Yeah, I didn't notice that, so I watched it on archive.org. The film is up for free on Archive, which is fucking badass, but the copy isn't so great. So I could see somebody going into the cabin, but obviously I didn't have a clear view of who it was because it's something fucking 740p or whatever it was. But yeah, very, very good.
Yeah, it's so creepy. And it works as well because, like, you know, it's like, oh, why wouldn't he just like go off and tell everybody? But it could be like Ralph again or something. That's what I was thinking.
And they don't know that there's a murderer around, so why wouldn't you go and look? Because if I was there, I'd go and look and see what the fuck was going on or who was.
No, you wouldn't.
I would. I'm brave.
No, you wouldn't at all.
So Jack and Marcy. So I quite like them as a couple. They're quite realistic. They have this bizarre conversation where she tells him about this recurring nightmare that she's had about the thrash metal band Slayer and Raining Blood. I'm very funny. So when the storm rolls in, you get Kevin Bacon with this like super serious acting. It's like, it's going to tear down that valley like a son of a gun.
Yeah.
So Jack and Marcy enter the forbidden dorm to escape the storm, but more importantly, to get some loving in. And during their sex scene, the camera pans. They're on the bottom bunk, and the camera slowly pans upwards to the top bunk to reveal Ned's lightning-lit, wide-eyed corpse staring into the camera without having his throat cut. This was really cool, really scary thing to see.
It's fucking so good, this. And like even watching it last night, I like drew the blinds in my house and stuff, and I was watching it on my own. I was like, shit, that is so creepy. And you get the lightning thing. It's fucking nice. I love it. And
did you barricade your front door as well?
I didn't last night, but I remember ages ago when I was in my old flat watching Scream 6 of all things, and like nobody was in, and I was like, fucking. I actually I was getting creeped out because I was like, shit. So I like got up and like locked the back door and that. Yeah. It's more of it, you know, like it's like, you know, house entries and that. Anyway.
Yeah, I did it. I did it last year. I was downstairs on the couch at like 1 a.m. watching Lake Mungo, and I really needed the toilet. And I was like, I'm too scared to go to the toilet, so I just sat there holding it in until I turned the film off. Till the film had finished, I was like, right, it's safe to go to the loo now. Yeah.
Oh my god.
The only thing that's done that to me since being an adult is playing Resident Evil 2 remake. At like 4 a.m, I was just like, fucking hell, what is going to be behind me now? I was playing in the dark downstairs at like 4 a.m. I was just like, fucking hell.
Yeah, fuck.
It was awesome.
If somebody else is in the house, I'm fine, but if I'm alone, it's just, I just can't do it.
So Marcy leaves to take a piss, and we get the most infamous death of the film next. So Kevin Bacon is lying there, post-coital, sparks up a spliff, and he notices blood seeping through the mattress, Ned's blood, and it taps him on the head. And he, before he even notices he's like, oh, what's this? An arm reaches round and grabs him on the top of the forehead, and an arrow is pushed through the mattress and out through his neck, like spraying blood absolutely everywhere. So the killer was waiting under the mattress. Absolutely iconic kill. Many people's favourites. Yeah, what do you think of this one?
This is still tight. The bit that scares me the most is the idea that she's been fucking under there for like an hour or two, just waiting. And then also what scares me is you see how fast her hand like comes up and grabs his head.
Yeah.
That creeps me out mega.
Yeah, I think the effects in this part are absolutely amazing for the time, you know. I wouldn't even say it's that dated. The only difference is like the colour of the body compared to his face. Because it was prosthetic up to his chin, wasn't it? So he was under the bed with his head poking through the mattress, through the pillow, and then the dummy on the bed. And you can tell the difference in the skin colour, but other than that, I think it looks absolutely fantastic for the time.
Yeah,
like, so inventive. This is what it started making me think about. Like nowadays with like CG and stuff, you don't have to be inventive. I know like it takes a lot of talent to create some of the things they do with CG. It's like insane how hard it must be to do. However, back then you had to be so creative with how you did stuff, and I think they used like an ice bag or something and filled it up with blood, and then that was put inside the neck area of the dummy, and then the arrow literally did go through the dummy and obviously made it squirt the blood and stuff. And it's just so creative, and it's just like I can imagine that like Tom Savini sitting around trying to figure out how to do it and like having a really good time with it and stuff, and it just makes me feel very happy. Yeah.
There's I think there's somewhere I've seen, I can't remember where I've seen it or whatever, but there's a behind the scenes photo and it shows like it's from the side of the bed, and I think you can see Kevin Bacon like kneeling down.
I was going to say like squatted.
Yeah, it's fucking nice.
I'm going to have to look for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you mean, the prosthetic. The only thing, like you said, the only thing I think that throws it off is just the colour of it. It's because he's so tanned.
Yeah.
And I think that sort of shit doesn't even bother me. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it doesn't bother me.
They put the effect together, and it looks fucking good. And obviously, you know, when you're watching the film, you're going to look for like the bits and pieces that you can think, oh, that's where they've done this and that's where they've done that, and that's part of the fun, you know what I mean, for a film like this. You know, how creative can they be, and how can we sort of spot how they did it? It's like a magician's a magic act.
And when I was just talking then about having to be creative and stuff like that, it's like I think it brings out a side of a person where you... Sorry, hold on, I was looking for the photo while I was talking. It brings out like a certain level creativity that people probably don't realise they have. Like, for example, the mutant baby in a razor head. Like, people still don't know how David Lynch did that, and it looks amazing, and it looks real. It looks like an alien. And like
secret he took to his grave.
Exactly. Like, just because of those limitations, the way people have to be creative, it just blows my mind. I'm such a big fan of this kind of stuff. Practical definitely. All the way. Fuck yeah. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, we watched, I'm not going to go up drone on about it too much, but we watched, we covered See No Evil a couple of episodes ago, and the effects in that film, I just...
Oh, are they good?
I don't... No.
It's all CG, is it? I've never seen it.
Just don't.
Yeah.
Don't. So, right, where are we? Okay, so... Marcy is taking a piss in the outhouse, and we get a shot of the killer's boots walking into the outhouse. James, what do you think of the boots?
These are highly rated boots. They are not brogues. Yeah. They're high tops, I think. But yeah, I like these.
That's the ankle support.
Ankles.
They're hiking boots.
These are good.
So Marcy, she gets spooked, thinking that there's someone in there with her. So she believes it is almost certainly Dickhead Ned. So she checks behind the curtains to find nobody. And as she does, we see the shadow of the killer behind her, raising up an axe, and that thing gets buried about 3 inches into her brain in a fantastic looking kill, because it's just so good. This is my favourite kill of the film. It's fucking...
Is it really?
It just looks... Yeah, they don't show you the axe going in, it cuts away, but when it cuts back and she's got it on glued to her face, she like sort of throws her body back.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I rewatched it about 5 times because I just wanted to see the transition from the axe to it just being in her head. And obviously the film didn't use any stuntmen or stuntwomen, so she's had this prosthetic put into her head, and you can see that she just she almost slams her head back because she's doing the motion of the axe hitting her. and it's such a quick cut. They do it so perfectly that it looks.
Yeah.
It goes from like the axe being up, her normal face, the axe being up, and then the axe being in her face, and they just did it so fucking well.
Does it cut to a lampshade?
Yeah.
Like jingling. I think it's meant to imply that the axe has sort of hit the lampshade as it comes out, but it implies like a load of movements and like things that have happened that they don't show you, and in your brain fills in the gaps, and it was it's my favourite kill by far.
I would probably say the Kevin Bacon kill's my favourite.
Yeah, I think the Kevin Bacon kill and a later kill are the two most famous from this film. But this is my favourite. This is I said the four practical kills that you see is this one, the throat slit, Kevin Bacon's, and then the one later at the end of the film.
Yeah.
But I'd say this is definitely my favourite.
Really?
So, back at Alice's cabin, the other teens, Alice, Bill and Brenda, bunker down to smoke weed, drink beer, and play a game of strip Monopoly, which sounds like an absolutely cracking night in.
Yeah. We should do it, boys. We should meet up and do it.
Us. Just us.
Yeah.
The Dark Talk live on stage podcast.
I've written in my notes here that those Budweiser stubbies look absolutely delicious. Because can you still buy them? Because I've never seen them. Certainly not in the UK.
No.
You can buy stubbies, but I've never seen Bud stubbies.
Yeah, well, they were making my mouth water. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
The storm blows open the door, which makes Brenda realise that she's left her cabin windows open. So she has to get dressed and go back and go to bed, basically. And I think that she is definitely trying to shag Alice, because Alice is about to take her clothes off, and as Brenda leaves, Brenda's like, just when things were going to get interested. And I was like, oh yeah.
Oh, please be lesbo.
I think she's into Alice, yeah.
Yeah, that checks out.
We get a very, very... I'm going to say this film gets a lot of shit for not being as tense or psychologically... It don't build as much suspense as Halloween does, but I think it does. And this is one of the scenes that really does it for me.
Yeah.
So Brenda goes to the same bathroom that Marcy was in, and she gets that being watched sensation, and this is confirmed to us, the audience, when we get a creepy as shit look at the killer's hand slowly peeking behind the curtain.
So good. That's my favourite bit in the whole film is just that shot. It's just at this point we've got to remember, like, we don't know if this is like some fucking weird guy or we don't know who it is. Yeah, and it's just
still a whodunit at this point. It's
yeah, and it's just the lighting and just how creepy it is. That's my favourite shot. I
tell you what you could do if you could find like a high definition screenshot of that. You could get that as a poster. Just that vertical curtain, like in Portrait with the curtain, just the fingers holding the curtain back. That's
so good.
Great.
Actually, yeah, I'm gonna make that.
That'd be sweet.
Can I have one as well?
It can go with your Jason statue.
Your Friday the 13th logo.
Oh, yeah. Maybe like Izzy comes home from work, I'll be like, hey babe, I've redecorated the office.
It's just like I've redecorated the office, the bedroom and the living room. And
I've touched up the doors a little, and she goes around, there's just a plasticine hand on each door there. Like, oh, great.
It kind of reminds me of the shot from Black Christmas with the eye.
Yeah.
That same kind of feeling from it, yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, so Brenda, nothing happens to Brenda here in the house, so she goes back to her own cabin, and she's being watched through a window, and that fucking nightdress that she's wearing, like, she looks like an old man with like a long beard and a sleeping cap, like Ebenezer Scrooge. It's just like got to bed, and she's got this oil lit reading candle.
It's like that meme, innit? Where you can buy all those items off Amazon. It's like, get his look.
The ghost of bloody Christmas
steal
past.
His look.
The Ebenezer Scrooge starter pack.
Yeah.
Or the other one where it's like, I can't wait to put all these on and then get into bed and go honk shoe.
Fucking Rip Van Winkle.
But yeah, she is,
So Brenda hears I love this bit. She hears a child's voice calling out for help, and she's not sure what she hears at first. And she goes back to reading, and she hears the voice call out again. It's like, help me. So she goes out into the pouring rain following this disembodied voice, and I started to wonder, like, where is it coming from? Is it supernatural, or is it the killer projecting their voice as a child, which is something that we'll later discover that the killer can do. But then I thought, it doesn't matter. I like it that they leave it unanswered. It could be like the ghost of Jason. It could be Mrs. Voorhees. It's such a weird supernatural thing to add to this film, and it just works because it's like, maybe it's magic, maybe it's not. Fucking yeah, loved it.
It's creepy. It's so fucking creepy, isn't it?
It's awesome. It's probably my favourite scene.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So Brenda wanders onto the archery range and floodlights turn on, scaring the shit out of her, but she still thinks that it's Ned because such is his reputation for being a big stupid lame-o. And I was a bit gutted about this bit because we hear her scream, but we don't see what happens to her straight away. And I thought, they built that up all the way, and just an off-camera death. I thought she deserves better than that.
Nah, I kind of like it.
It's still one of my favourite scenes of the film, though. It's definitely the bit with the most tension, I think. But she is dead, as we will find out.
I actually like off, maybe not on all films, but like some of these off-camera deaths. I don't know. I just think they're creepy. Especially like Neddy.
Yeah, but that's more the reveal, though. I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
I like the thought of people getting taken off screen when the survivors know that they've gone, and it's more of like a fuck. Where have they gone? Like who's taking?
Oh, I
these
see
people?
What you mean. Yeah.
That's how I would prefer to see it in a film, but I'm not bothered by this one. I think it's quite fast paced, isn't it? So it's when she does get revealed, it's like, oh, okay, that's what happened to her next kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess. So, speaking of these off-camera deaths, we get the next off-camera death, which is so back in town, Steve Christie. So I guess this reveals that he's not the killer, really, because he's been in town while these murders have been taking place, and he's at this random diner waiting out the storm. And I love the shot of outside that diner, the way it looks in the rain with the neon lit lights. I was just thought, this is great.
So one of my notes I've got written down, I was like, I completely forgot that she had like the same Jeep as him, and I was like, oh my god, she's actually in the diner. And then I was watching the whole scene. I was like, oh, is she in the background? Because that'd be fucking sick if she was.
Yeah.
But no. I fell for it.
No. Yeah, so he hops into his Jeep, which is, like you said, exactly the same make and model as the killer's. But it breaks down, and he is picked up by the chief of police, and who drives him back to the lake. But the chief has to attend an accident elsewhere, so he drops Steve off to walk the rest of the way. The storm has sort of stopped now, and it's got this eerie calmness after the storm. Everything just looking at it, I could just tell, oh god, it has been pissing down. It's what I mean. And then when everything's calm after, I thought, it's great. So when he arrives at the front gate of Camp Crystal Lake, he comes across somebody lurking in the woods, shining a flashlight in his face. Somebody that he apparently recognizes. So we get that. Oh hi. What are you doing out in this mess? And he gets stabbed in the stomach.
I don't know if this is going to be thingy, but this is my favourite death in the film. I think it's creepy. I think the fact he's like, oh hi, he's speaking to her. I mean, maybe it's because I know she's like an older woman, but he's like, oh hi, like what are you doing out in this mess? And then it's just, it's fucking so creepy. And I think it's
you've always said that, yeah.
It's the feeling it gives me. I think it's not so much like, I don't know, it's just it's my favourite death. It makes me feel like really scared.
It is unsettling, yeah. I just think it I don't know.
I know you don't see anything.
No, I know. I'm not someone that needs the gore, but I think with this late into the film, we've just had 3 really good gory deaths. I think this one's falls a bit flat for me.
Yeah, I think it's just the fact he's like maybe he just knows who it is or something, or
yeah,
I don't know, just being in that situation with this torch facing you in the dark, and it's like you can't see. It's my favourite.
Well, these are the things that you said that have scared you the most. So, like Mrs. Voorhees lurking under the bed, rather than Kevin Bacon's death, and the stuff behind the curtain. So I see why it's more.
That's like
it's like the stuff that makes you create what's actually happening in your mind.
Yeah,
so
like you don't.
What
see...
you are not seeing is being created. So like, you're doing it in your mind, like almost like
the idea. Yeah, like the idea that say like she after she's killed Marnie. Or Marcy. After she'd killed her, like for all we know, she's just been stood. Because she's obviously fucking mentally ill. She's just been stood in that cubicle, just like in darkness, and then Brenda happens to go in there. And she's like, oh. Yeah. And then it's just like, that's what scares me, I think. She's just been stood there doing nothing. Or she's been lying under the bed after she's killed Neddy. Yeah. That's what creeps me out.
Yeah, she's just waiting for her next victim. Yeah, just there's all this unpredictable, weird, spider-like behaviour.
It's like Michael Myers, isn't it, basically?
So, it's just Bill and Alice left, and they decide to go look for the others, and I like this bit as well. They find a bloody axe in Brenda's bed,
Yeah.
and it's just like, what the fuck's that doing in there? You know, it's just like
Yeah,
you'd shit your pants seeing that. They go look for Jack and Marcy, who also aren't there. They try to call for help, but the phone lines have been cut.
I love that shot.
Engine on the. Yeah, it's great, isn't it? It sort of pans out to show slowly that the killer has like slashed the phone lines.
There's so many good shots and stuff in this one that obviously because I haven't sat and watched the film as a whole in 15 years, 20 years. There's some really good like actual filmmaking in this, I think.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to this bit now. So this is a great bit. The generator breaks down, so Bill goes off to fix it. And while he's sort of on his knees fixing the generator, we get this like fake out POV shot that I think is really cool. And so it creeps up behind him, and I couldn't remember what happens to Bill. So it creeps up behind him, and you think it's like a POV shot of the killer about to kill him, but he turns around and he doesn't look at the camera, but he looks in the direction where if it was the killer, he would see and react. And he walks past, so it is just the cameraman. So I was thinking, oh, that's a really clever, subtle thing that I've never seen anybody mention. And I was like, are they trying to imply that he's the killer? Because you've had a killer shot comes to kill him and then there's nothing there. So I don't know if that was intentional or not.
Yeah, maybe.
But I was really tense watching it because I couldn't remember what happened to him.
Yeah.
At this point, though, so one of your red herrings is gone, Steve. The cop and Ralph still haven't come back into it, so it still could be them. But as you said before, if they're implying that Bill could be the killer, then they probably are, to be fair.
But a lot of it doesn't sort of sync up with, because he's there playing strip Monopoly while others are getting killed. So, a lot of it doesn't sync up like perfectly. But yeah, I think maybe they were trying to do that.
Maybe they're two killers. Maybe they copied Scream.
Two killers? Well, let's get into my theory in a bit.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Anyway, back at the cabin, we get long shots of Alice making coffee and pottering around the kitchen.
Acme coffee.
Going into the pantry to get the jar of sugar and putting the sugar in, then going back into the pantry to put the sugar jar back down. A lot of people complain about this. I don't mind it. I thought it was pretty inoffensive, really.
I don't know. If it was a character that I actually liked, I'd be a bit more like, yeah. But it's just,
I just like the sort of like the realization that we, the audience, now know that she's the only one left.
Yeah, shit.
You know, and I'm thinking, oh god, fuck, what's coming for you? Because we still don't sort of know what the killer is or who the killer is, and we're just thinking like, oh god,
yeah.
Pretty much everyone's dead except for we'll find out about Bill now. So Alice gets bored waiting for Bill, so she decides to go out and look for him in the generator room, but he's not there. Well, he is there because she closes the door to the generator room and it reveals Bill's arrow-sodden corpse pinned to the back of the door. And it's really cool looking effects. I did like this.
Fucking, really good. I've got it written down here. Like when she actually finds his body, it's so unexpected because to me he's like the strong, silent, like, oh yeah, he's going to be like the main guy, and they'll get together at the end of the film, and he's fucking butchered.
It's just like pins to the, just like,
but like so badly. He's not just been killed; he's been like fucking.
It's literally like they've strung him up and then they've pinned him to the walls with arrows. It's like he was trying to attack King's Landing or something. And they're just like...
But yeah, this is it's such a good reveal, and it's really fucking scary as well because I at that point I still think those two are going to make it out alive together.
Yeah, and you'd feel safer if there was someone else there, but now you know you're alone. It's like
just
God.
Yeah, I know.
So final girl mode now. Alice barricades herself into the cabin by tying a rope to the door to hold it closed, and she places a ton of crap in front of the door, which is pretty funny because the door opens outwardly. But I mean, she knows that because she has tied it.
I like the rope.
So this is just to like.
I was thinking during it, I was like, that's a pretty fucking good knot that she's tying there. And then I thought, well, she's a camp counselor. She's probably going to be teaching this kind of shit. So
yeah.
It makes sense.
I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Well, you're telling me she wasn't a sailor for years.
I don't know. She seems to like going out in boats.
So Alice arms herself with a baseball bat and a barbecue prong. She's like, come on!
Like fucking old school like Christmas presents for people who lived in like the 20s and stuff.
Brenda's body gets launched through the window and it looks suspiciously like Tom Savini in a wig.
Is it him, is it?
Yeah, it's like clearly not Brenda. I think it's Tom Savini. It's this guy with like thick, black, curly mop head.
Imagine that, from outside. And action Tom, sprint.
Just dressed in her nightdress with the cap.
Fuck, I imagine behind the scenes footage existed of that. That'd be so good.
So Alice decides to leave the safety of her cabin, and she sees lights from a Jeep returning, and she thinks that the Jeep is Steve, but it's not. It is a brand new character, Mrs. Voorhees, played by Betsy Palmer. And, gotta say, fucking performance of a lifetime here.
Fucking creepy as fuck. So even when she's not revealed to be the fucking killer, she's like, ugh.
So we meet Mrs. Voorhees, and she explains that she used to work for the Christies as their cook, and she explains all about the tragedies that have befallen the camp since the 50s. And I love this bit because the more she talks, the more you slowly start to realise that there is something wrong with this person. You know, you'll be in the pub and you'll have a conversation with someone, and you think they're normal, and then ever so slowly you start to realise that they're like a Tory or a flat earther or something like that, and you're like, oh God, what have I got myself into?
And then you go to leave,
go
to leave, and they're like, oh, I've just bought you a pint. And you're like,
So it's revealed to us and to Alice now that the killer is Mrs. Voorhees, and she is doing it for revenge because it was her son that drowned back in 57 because the camp counsellors weren't watching him. They were making love while that young boy drowned. Gotta say, fucking brilliant. I fucking love the scene where she loses her grip on sanity.
I've got a note written down here saying, so I see it's when she sees Brenda's body that's been chucked through the window, and she's like, oh no, so young. And I thought
she does try and like keep up the performance for a little bit. She like puts her arm rests her arm on like the door frame. She's like, Steve should never have opened this place up again. There's been too much trouble. It's like, oh,
this is the thing.
You fucking trying to fool.
I love the fact, like, I love watching this and thinking, like, trying to get in her headspace. So, like, I wonder if she even knows she's been doing this. Because she's basically Jason, isn't she?
Yeah, so I don't know if they're trying to imply that she is bonkers.
Yeah.
But they're trying to imply that she's haunted by the spirit of Jason as well.
I don't like that idea.
Or no, like they leave it ambiguous. They don't tell you. They don't say either way.
Yeah, when I say that, I don't mean. I mean, I hope that she's not like possessed by Jason's spirit. That would suck. But I think like the state of her, like losing a kid like that has drove her. Yeah. Like she probably is doing all this and like blacking out and shit.
I don't think she was that all there to begin with. I think, and then I think the loss of Jason. Yeah, made it go even more mental. But we'll get into my theory at the end.
Cool.
Okay, right. So, Mrs. Voorhees, the sanity slips and she attacks Alice. Alice manages to escape, runs to the Jeep and finds Annie's corpse. And now the idea of Mrs. Voorhees driving around all day with that body in the passenger seat just amused me very greatly. She finds the hanging, swinging body of Steve Christie, who is upside down, swinging from a tree, and I struggled to believe that Mrs. Voorhees could have got him up there by herself.
Yeah.
So,
also, getting the bill on the door as well, covered in arrows. Like, I love it, but...
Yeah, and launching Thingy's body through the window.
Well, no, I actually think that is, like... I've got on my notes here, it's like, that is actually... The way it falls through the window is it's as if she's done it. Because, like, in the later films... Like, when bodies get chucked through the window, they're fucking launched so much. Because Jason's so strong and big. But I actually thought that was quite realistic.
Yeah, but then as soon as that body comes through the window, Alice runs outside and then Mrs. Voorhees is driving up in the Jeep. So she'd have had to have sprinted up to her Jeep.
Well, you've got a theory.
Driven back down. I have got a theory, but I'm sure everybody listening has worked out what my theory is.
There's a scene here that I've got a note with, and it's when Mrs. Voorhees is approaching Alice and she's like going towards it. Alice is like chucking things at her and stuff, and it cuts to like her like knocking it out the way. And then I was just thinking, like, that point of view, or the cameraman must have just been grabbing stuff and going just launching stuff at all the director or whatever. But it made me laugh.
I know, just praise Mrs. Voorhees' loss of sanity, and Betsy Palmer's performance, but the film goes a bit stupid here.
Yeah.
Alice pushes over Mrs. Voorhees, runs outside, sees all the bodies. She runs to the garage and finds a rifle, but when Mrs. Voorhees arrives, she's like disarmed in the easiest way possible. It's this little light shove, just like, and down she goes and like drops the rifle. Then she gets slapped around a bit, and then Alice picks the rifle up again and like clubs Mrs. Voorhees in the crotch with the butt of the rifle, which she sells like she's hung like Val Venus. Like she's like, and she goes right down. And then Alice just runs away again and hides behind some decking. And I have no idea how she wasn't spotted. And then she just runs back into the lodge and hides in Crazy Ralph's pantry.
Crazy Ralph's pantry.
And then you can hear Mrs. Voorhees stomping around the kitchen, and then there's this nice shot of Alice with the doorknob being rattled behind her head. And I did like this bit. So Mrs. Voorhees smashes her way in, and she's now wielding the franchise's trademark weapon, a gigantic fucking machete. It's like 2 foot long, and she's like, ah!
I've got this written down. You know, like every time she's found her, she's like says something to her, then she tries to attack her. So in that other one, she's like, come on, my dear, it'll be easier for you than it was for Jason. She's obviously like sick of this now, so she just runs into that pantry and just swings.
Yeah.
It doesn't even save it, just looks at her and goes like, fuck you.
Mrs. Voorhees is taken out for a third time when Alice clocks in the face with a cooking pot or something. Like this.
Yeah.
Just gives up her advantage over the prone killer again and just runs away to sit by the lake to think, with her back to the cabin.
Yeah.
Obviously the killer is not dead, so we finally get the good fight between the two. There's like choking each other, biting each other, smacking each other with oars, and they get sort of like split up like that.
Not forgetting Pamela smashing Alice's head into the sand. That fucking made me
Yeah. So it's when they could have cut this fight. They could have cut this ending scene out to just this fight. You know, maybe added like an extra 2 or 3 minutes battling in the house or something. But I think again, like they're trying to pad it out, so they have about 3 or 4 fight scenes. They just don't land until this last one. So Alice disarms Mrs. Voorhees, picks up that gigantic machete, and in an absolutely iconic slow motion shot, she comes sprinting towards Mrs. Voorhees, who stares at her open mouth like. And Alice just takes one big swig, and she takes Mrs. Voorhees' head off in one clean swipe, and fucking iconic. Best death of the film, amazing, loved it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's creepy. I really like the fact that I think it's like shot normal frame rate as well, but they slow it down so it looks like what would normally look shit, I think, but it's like
it's definitely
slow shot and it just adds to it. And it's creepy. Is that actually Betsy Palmer? Not a head.
No,
not a head getting
they're
cut
big,
off.
chunky man hands.
Yeah,
that's what I
was
can see like the hairs coming out of the sleeves.
Yeah,
it's just like
I don't think it's Tom Savini. It's one of the other effects guys.
Yeah.
And he got his head. He pulled the sweater over his head, and then they put the fake Betsy Palmer head on top.
Yeah.
And I think they attached it with a toothpick, so it would get knocked off straight away.
Okay.
And you know, I think this effect holds up today. It looks great.
Yeah, it does.
It looks really good.
It's creepy. It's good. It's really good.
And I know we've got a lot of films to cover in this series, but I don't want to speak too soon, but I'm going to say, is this the most iconic death of the entire franchise? Maybe. I can think of a ton that we'll get to, but I might just put that in now, and I can't think of any that's going to eclipse it in the coming films. There'll be some close contenders, but
iconic, yes, because it's the first film. It's the killer actually getting killed.
Oh, actually dying.
Dying. And I think I've seen this on like so many clips of like when you used to watch like TV programs about horror films and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's used on everything.
Yeah, it's just iconic, isn't it? The head swipe and all that. So it might be the most iconic in my eyes, but not my favourite by any means.
Yeah, it's not my favourite either, but it's still fucking badass though.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, so coming into the end of the film now, Alice floats out onto the lake in a canoe as the police arrive, and she wakes up finally feeling safe to this most cheesy synth outro music.
Awful music.
On time.
But I guess they've used it to disarm the audience, right?
Yeah, and we get one final jump scare, the infamous shot of child Jason jumping out the lake to drag her down underwater, and the boat tips over, and fucking it looks great. Jason looks so good, so good.
It's awesome.
It's like covered in moss and like
it's fucking sick, and his skin's all like pink and patchy and just gross.
Yeah.
Also, the music change is just so good.
I really, really thought they should have ended the film with that shot. Like, that would have been chef's kiss. Yeah. So instead they chicken out and they give us the whole... I get what they're trying to do. They give us the whole, it was all a dream, or was it? We wake up with Alice in the hospital. She's in hospital. She's talking to the police, and she asks about the boy that they saw, and the chief explains that they didn't find any boy, leaving up to us to decide whether it was a dream or real. Alice speculates that Jason is still out there haunting the lake, and the film ends there. I do think that was a bit of a cop-out I think if you just ended it with Ghost Jason or
Yeah.
whatever.
And I'm quite confused, actually, thinking about it, because, like, did they know they were going to do a film with Jason? I don't think they did they?
I don't think they did, no.
So that
It
makes
wasn't.
it
It
even
wasn't
more...
planned. If I remember correctly, so the Jason coming out of the water was added afterwards. It wasn't ever going to end like that. It was just going to end with her on the boat and the police arriving. But there were complaints that it wasn't scary enough, or they needed a twist or like a shocking end. So they added Jason coming out of the boat. And then maybe they were like, oh, we could like open this up to a sequel if we add this last little bit in. I don't know that for a fact, but maybe that's what they did on that end.
Yeah, to me it looks like that hospital bed scene's like tacked on at the end, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the case. That's what it feels like.
I didn't even remember this until I saw it this morning, because I said I watched it last night, but I actually watched a bit of it last night and the rest of it this morning, because I was lying there in bed, my eyes were like piss holes, and I was just like trying to stay awake, because I'd just done 2 like really long days in work. So I watched it again this morning, and I was like, I don't remember this scene at all. I just remember how you described it, Dan, how you think it would have been better. Yeah, I don't even remember that bit. But it would have been more like Nightmare on Elm Street, wouldn't it? That very end scene, if it was just him coming out.
Yeah.
It would have just been like a shock ending, and that was it.
Yeah, so that's Friday the 13th from 1980. Now, before we get into our quick recast and our thoughts on the film and the trivia, I just want to go through my theory. So my theory on this film is... So we talked about that plaid shirt before. The killer who cuts Annie's throat is wearing a plaid shirt. The killer behind Kevin Bacon's character under the bed has got a plaid shirt on. My theory for a long time was that Jason in Friday Part 2 wears plaid shirts and overalls. So I always assumed that Jason... My theory was, my headcanon, is that Jason is helping his mother with these kills. And that was my evidence, the plaid shirt. But if you do look at Mrs. Voorhees, under the big chunky sweater, she is wearing the same plaid shirt.
Yeah. That's what I was going to bring up earlier on.
Yeah, so it does show that it's her. So that sort of clues it in when she arrives, if you've been paying attention, that you can sort of see the collar poking.
You can see the collar, yeah.
But again, like for me, I still believe that her and Jason are working as a team in this. So I think when he drowned as a kid, he either didn't drown, he lived, and she went mad, and she kept him hidden, and they've just been living together in the woods. Or he drowned and he did come back to life because he's a zombie or whatever, but whatever canon you want to use. So I think you don't see him. So I don't, because there's no way she could string up Steve Christie's body upside down, nor could she put Bill's corpse to that door with those arrows. And I don't think she could throw Brenda through the window. And every time she's fighting Alice, she loses without... Alice puts in like zero effort, and like Mrs. Voorhees is constantly getting beaten up. So I think most of the kills were probably Jason in this, but you just don't see him. I do think she picked up Annie in the Jeep, and I think when Annie ran into the woods, Jason was there and he killed her. I think it was Jason lurking under the bed as well. His hand could hold Kevin Bacon's head down and push the arrow in. I don't think she could do that. I don't think she's strong enough to do that.
Yeah. Okay, so...
Because they're weird, I think they share clothes, so I think she's wearing Jason's shirt. One of her smashing blouses. The story is that Jason's been alive for like all these years in the woods, and the idea that he's been living in the woods, not having gone back to his mother all this time, is just stupid.
Oh, so is that like the common...
That's canon.
So the story canon is that he drowned, but he lived and went off to live in the woods on his own, while she's been thinking that he's been dead for 20 years and has gone mad, and then he sees her on the night that she's been beheaded, and then that's what drives him to kill. But I think they've been together all this time. Who would know?
I agree with that. That seems pretty...
So there's my theory. So anyone with any holes to poke in that, you can kiss my ass.
I agree with that. That seems... I mean, I've not seen the second one yet, but yeah, I like this. I like the idea of that as well.
Yeah,
So do we want to get into a recast?
Well, we didn't really talk about how bad Alice's character is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I suppose, yeah.
Well, I've got a little bit of information saved about the actress. Now that you're talking about it, do you want to talk about how bad she is, and then I'll tell you this little bit of information about her?
Yeah. I mean, I don't mean any like illness to her, and I don't mean things, but like it's the way the character's written as well. She's just awful.
The performance is quite wooden, I think.
And I don't think she's got... So I've got, what is it, when they find the axe, and she's like, what is going on? And my next note was, she's so bad at acting, it's a shame she's the final girl. All she says is things like, where are they? And what's going on? And she's actually very annoying. Which is a shame, because you've got Brenda and Marcy and well, I guess Annie doesn't really count, but she's not in it that long. But like all the other characters, I
Much
really
more
like,
natural.
much better actors, like,
Yeah.
and really natural with each other.
Yeah.
And I think it's such a strange casting.
Yeah, I think maybe if you swap Brenda's actress with Adrienne King, maybe or maybe even Brenda's role, you know. I do think Adrienne King puts on a good performance when she first meets Mrs. Voorhees at the end, and she's panicking and before she knows that she's evil, and she's like, Bill's out there, and she just doesn't know what to say. I do like that from it.
It's just the rest of it. Even in the hospital scene at the end.
The hospital's the worst one by far. Yeah. And it does so much. It's like such a close up on her face. It only like has like a square of her face, and she's just like, "Oh my god!" It's just fucking dead weird.
Do you know she reminds me of is the woman who played Cassandra in Only Fools and Horses.
Yes, I was going to say that.
Yeah. And she is also an awful actor.
She's not that bad. I actually watched an old Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing Hammer horror film from the 70s a couple of weeks ago. It's about demonic children, and she's in it, the girl that plays Cassandra. She's like the devil child in it.
Is she?
Yeah, her performance is just as bad. Yeah, I don't mind Adrienne King's performance. I don't really notice it all that much. But if you were the other three female counsellors are better actresses, so I think you could have had one of them.
Yeah. Maybe she should have been Annie at the beginning, so she was on her own, and then she got in the car, and then her role was...
Yeah, that would have worked better, yeah.
And then the actress who played Annie could have been the final girl. I don't know. I feel bad saying it about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I do feel bad, but the character is just not written very well, I don't think. It's just,
hope she's not listening.
Yeah, that's what I was actually freaking out about.
I hope she's not one of the 20 people that listen to this.
Yeah.
I've got a little bit of information about that actress, right? So I heard this on a little bit of a video that I was listening to in preparation, and it's about the fact that she had a stalker after this film came out. Don't know if either of you have heard about that. Well, I've just saved a little snippet from Wikipedia for you. It says, after the success of Friday the 13th, King was pursued by a male stalker who managed to learn areas she frequented, where she exercised and ate lunch. The man took Polaroid photos of King that he would slip under the door of her apartment in New York City. And at one point, he broke into her apartment, defaced her arsework... broke into her apartment and defaced her artwork, not her arsework. On one occasion, the man confronted her in her apartment and held a gun to her head. He was apprehended.
You should be laughing while you're saying this.
He was apprehended and spent some time imprisoned, but the incident traumatized her so much she completely left the public eye until about 2016, I believe. She got into teaching or something like that.
Yeah, I think she's done conventions and stuff since. I think she's sort of like come round to the fandom.
Yeah.
And you know, fucking nobody should have to deal with that, especially nobody should have to deal with that.
Yeah, absolutely horrific, isn't it? It's like she's very lucky that she didn't die. Let's be honest.
Yeah, fucking 100%.
Yeah.
Right, let's get quickly into a recast.
I just want to say I just gone on the guy who plays Steve Christie's IMDb.
Yeah.
And his IMDb photos, the shot of him looking into the flashlight just before he gets killed.
I mean, what else was it going to be? It's the only close-up he's ever had in his life.
Jesus.
Okay, quick recast. Well, while we're on the subject of Alice, I didn't do a recast for Alice, but now we've talked about it, I would just recast the role of Brenda or Marcy to be the final girl, and just either of those two actresses would have been great. I can't think of anybody today. Have you got anybody in this day and age you would have as Alice?
Not as Alice, no. I just wouldn't have that character in it, I don't think.
Yeah.
Oh, I did actually, yeah. Millie Bobby Brown.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because I know she's like an A-lister now, but my version of this would be a really big summer blockbuster.
Yeah, like loads of like Michael Bay explosions and shaky cams,
lens flares,
CGI everywhere.
Yeah, Dutch camera angles.
Blue and orange poster.
Ooh, yeah. Blue, loads of fucking blue. Christ.
Oh, that fucking colour. I saw something blue somewhere in real life a couple of days ago, and I was like, oh, God. I was having flashbacks. Who did either of you have for a Mrs. Voorhees recast?
I'll go first, because I think both of you have a high likelihood of picking this same actress. I've chosen her before for a role in one of our recasts, I can't remember which one, but because she's been mentioned previously, she is now friend of the podcast and Dowd.
And Dowd,
Fuck,
yeah.
it's funny you say that because I chose Toni Collette.
Who was Dan's choice for Loomis in Halloween?
Was that who I chose?
Is that who you chose?
Toni Collette.
Yeah.
I've used it before, yeah.
Anne Dowd is a fucking really good shout. That's really fucking good.
Anne Dowd's also in Hereditary, right?
Yeah.
So she's Toni Collette's not her mum, she's her mum's friend and thing. But she's also, do you remember I said this in one of the podcasts that we recorded? She's Errol Childress' sister in True Detective.
That's it, yeah.
Which is fucking amazing.
She's the cult leader in The Leftovers as well.
Yeah. Is she in The Handmaid's Tale?
Yes. Oh God, yeah.
She's a villain in that, isn't she? Yeah. She's fucking ace, she is.
She's really good at the crazy psychotic lady.
That's a really good shout. I chose Toni Collette because I was thinking of, Hereditary and like that whole fucking end bit of the film where she's just like trying to kill her son. It's fucking scary as fuck.
Well, I feel like my Mrs. Voorhees going to be a bit underwhelming now because you've chosen some like actresses and I chose mine was more of a bit of a nod really. I chose I'm not saying she's not an actress because she's a fucking fine actress. I've chose horror icon Neve Campbell for Mrs. Voorhees. Because there were some I was thinking about her in Scream. There are some scenes in Scream where she's tearing up as she's talking, about her dead mum. And, and I could just see her like wearing the sweater with the haircut and just like eyes going as she's doing it. Yeah. Neve Campbell.
Yeah, that'd be alright. It'd be like a role reversal for her as well.
Yeah, it'd be good to see her on the other end of the
other end of the knife.
The other end of the knife. We haven't recast any of the other teens, I don't think. Have you?
No, I noted down that Brenda looked like the actress that played it looked like a bit like Jennifer Garner.
A little bit, yeah. I've recast Kevin Bacon's character, and I would recast
Sosie Bacon. He's got it written down as well. Yeah.
Correct, Amundo. Friend of the podcast, Sosie Bacon.
Oh god, if we ever cover Footloose,
I will stop making that joke, that friend of the podcast joke, when I stop finding it funny.
Go on, James. Who have you got?
Again, this is kind of like he just looks like him, and also this would count because this isn't even using the time machine thing. This is just because this actor hasn't aged. You could have Paul Rudd as Bill because when there's the shots of him when he's like sorting out the generator and stuff like that, he looks. Spitting image of him.
Isn't he the guy who plays him? Isn't that Bing Crosby's son?
It's Harry Crosby. Yeah.
Oh really?
I really like his performance in this.
Yeah,
very
it's good.
Subtle and like just calm. And nothing gets to him. Yeah.
I
really liked him.
all of the performances in this. Just not.
Yeah.
Again, Adrian Kings. I'm sorry, I sound really bad. Not a non-friend of the podcast after this. An enemy of the podcast.
I've also.
Did you guys recast anybody else?
I recast Crazy Ralph and Pervy Steve as well. I shouldn't call him that because when you hear my recasting choice, you don't like it. Yeah. So I was trying to think of someone who has like a moustache.
Do Steve first.
Like hair, like that. And this is a new one for the podcast. So I've recast him with James.
Oh my god, yeah, you've got the same hair and tan.
Yeah, I have actually. And I literally just had my fucking hair dyed today, that colour.
Yeah.
Shit, I did look like him.
Stick some glasses on.
There you go.
You need some hunky denim shorts now.
Yeah.
Well, I do actually have some, but he's in really good shape though, Steve Christie. I'm not.
It's all that stump pulling that he's doing.
Paul, who did you have for Crazy Ralph then?
I've gone for the time travel element, and I've gone for Harry Dean Stanton.
Nice.
Oh,
nice.
yes.
So
yeah, it looks exactly like it.
Yeah. Any excuse to put Harry Dean Stanton in anything, really, because of how awesome he is.
Fuck yeah, definitely.
I went for I recast Christian Slater because I think it's like I don't know. I reckon you could make him look like that, and he's got the same sort of chin.
Yeah. Does that mean Crazy Ralph is the guy from Heathers?
Yeah.
What's his name in Heathers? I've gone with. I've also used the time travel rule because this is the second time I've ever used it, and it's actually quite fun. So
yeah, it is.
I've gone for. I've gone for Sid Haig.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just imagine him in the clown makeup. You're all fucking doomed.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah. What do you reckon this film would be like if fucking Rob Zombie remade this instead?
I I don't know.
We can speak about that another time. That can be a podcast on something.
Yeah, that's
can-
that's a podcast for its own. I haven't got the mental facilities to deal with
I
that
just
one right now.
imagined the whole film in my head from start to finish, and it wouldn't be that bad actually.
And it's all set underground or something weird like that.
It'd just be like in the south, wouldn't it? In like New Orleans or something, and all the dialogue would be horrendous. And
You'd have Mrs. Voorhees riding a white horse everywhere.
played by Sherry Moon Zombie.
Yeah.
Right, do you want some trivia? Give us some trivia, Paul.
Yeah.
Okay, play the jingle. So, the movie was filmed in, please excuse my pronunciation of this, Camp Nobi Bosco in Blairstown, New Jersey, a Boy Scout camp that is still in operation. It has a wall of Friday the 13th memorabilia to honour that the movie was set there.
That's cool. I like that.
It's alright. It's cool to know that it's still there and everything. Betsy Palmer said that if it were not for the fact that she was in desperate need of a new car, she would never have accepted the role of Pamela Voorhees. In fact, after she read the script, she called the movie a piece of shit. Over the years, however, Palmer did warm up to the film as it made her more famous than infamous, and made appearances at conventions and in documentaries to discuss it. Yeah.
Well, this film was absolutely slated when it was released. It was like, I think Roger Ebert gave it like half a star or 2 thumbs down, and it was absolutely just completely panned when it came out.
Distasteful shit, that's what they said. Some guy, I can't remember what his name was, but a guy reviewed it and he tried to discourage people from going to see it, and he also gave out Betsy Palmer's address.
Oh, I heard that, yeah.
So that people would harass her, but he accidentally gave out the wrong address.
He gave out his own address.
Isn't that weird? Like a bloke doing something nasty to a woman. I'm shocked.
Yeah, thank God that doesn't happen anymore.
Shit.
Fucking hell.
What's next?
The scene with the snake was not in the script. We've discussed this earlier, but I'll read it directly. The scene with the snake was not in the script and was an idea from Tom Savini after an experience in his own cabin during filming. The snake scene was real. Its on-screen death was also very real, and the handler was there to witness it and crying.
Gutted.
Yeah. Shitty thing to do.
Yeah, really. Betsy Palmer tells fans she has no idea who this character in the hockey mask is, since her son Jason apparently drowned in 1957.
Another theory.
Yeah. Composer Harry Manfredini has said that, contrary to popular belief, the famous ch 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 ha 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 in the film's score is actually k k k ma ma ma. It is meant to resemble Jason's voice saying kill 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 mom mom mom. In Mrs. Voorhees' mind, it was inspired by the scene in which Pamela Voorhees chants, "Get her, mummy, kill her." Manfredini created the effect by speaking the syllables "ke" and "ma" into the microphone, running through a delay effect.
Nice.
Go on, give us one more.
The filmmakers never intended to make this the launching pad for the series that followed. According to Victor Miller, Jason was only meant as a plot device and was not intended to continue on his mother's grisly work. And his name wasn't even mentioned until like an hour and 15 minutes in or something like that.
It was literally the end of the film.
She said it right, yeah.
And also, this isn't to do with this film, but Pamela Voorhees' name Pamela isn't actually mentioned until the 4th film.
That's true. That's why I've been referring to her as Mrs. Voorhees all podcast, even though it's been a pain in the ass to say.
I got one more trivia here. Sorry to add to it. When the industry moved away from stubby bottles in the mid 1980s due to pressure for more attractive long necks from the import and American market, each brewery was left to its own devices. So yeah, that's why they stopped, just because of the way they looked. But I've just found one on eBay. It's empty, but you can buy the bottle for $20.
So I'd just like to put this out there. So if any Dark Talk listeners would like to send beer to Dark Talk HQ, we are accepting of that. So yes. Our address
I will be posting my address personally.
Yeah.
Don't you post Betsy Palmer's. And that was Paul's Trivia of the Week. Okay, James, tell us what else was available to watch in 1980.
Okay, so
what was this film up against?
Friday the 13th was up against Prom Night, which I've never seen.
Yes, very good. Very good.
The Fog. There's 2 Jamie Lee ones, right? Yeah.
That is
The Shining.
The scene when she breaks through the door reminded me of The Shining.
Yeah, massively.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. So it wouldn't have like copied it from it, would it?
No.
Let's see what else we got. Cannibal Holocaust.
Oof.
Gross.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever actually seen that. I know we had it on DVD, Dan, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. It's not. If you were pissed off about the snake dying in this film, you watch that. There's a lot worse in that film.
Maniac.
Good film.
Oh yeah, Maniac.
Love
yeah.
the remake
seen
as
it,
well.
never
We
seen
should
it.
cover the remake.
I've never watched
there a
that.
remake?
All these films look fucking
Yeah,
so good to watch.
with Elijah Woods as.
No, he's not.
Look it up.
Elijah Wood.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's really good.
Oh, what's the name of the guy from Maniac? I can't think of the main guy's name, but he turned up in. I watched. Have you seen Cruising with Al Pacino?
No, I don't think so.
It's this film about like the leather daddy gay industry in New York City back in the 80s, and there's a serial killer going around. We'd have to cover that. It's a fucking banging film. But the guy from Maniac plays a cop in that. He's fucking great in that as well.
Joe Spinell.
Joe Spinell.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got Terror Train, another Jamie Lee Curtis one. You seen that?
No.
No. The Watcher in the Woods, a Disney film.
No,
2018.
don't know that one.
Alligator.
Nope.
The Changeling.
I have seen a film called Changeling, but it's the Angelina Jolie film. It's about 25 years later.
Death Ship.
Oh yes, yeah, I have seen that actually. Yeah, it was a on the Horror Channel fucking years ago. It's like really shit, but it's quite good to watch. It's quite fun. It's not good.
The Gates of Hell.
Yes.
City of the Living Dead. Yeah. Hell.
By Fulci.
Hell of the Living Dead.
Don't know that one.
Dressed to Kill. Mother's Day. The Boogeyman. Literally. The Awakening. Funeral Home. Nightmare City. Delusion. The Island. Without Warning. He Knows You're Alone.
It's a pretty like hefty year for horror then. Even though I hadn't seen like the last sort of 6 of them.
Yeah.
I've only seen 1, 2, 3 of them, 4 of them maybe. But yeah, that was it for 1980.
Good year for horror then. Good year for horror.
Yeah.
I mean, The Fog, The Shining, and this film. That's 3 fucking heavyweights right there.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Right. Let's get into our final thoughts because I need to go to the shop and get some beer before it closes. Guys, give me your winners, losers, VIPs, MVPs, thoughts and prayers. What do you think of this film?
It's much better than I remembered. As I say, like I was disappointed that Jason wasn't in it. I knew that he wasn't going to be in it though, when I first watched it, because I think I'd seen Scream before it.
Yeah.
And they say that at the beginning of Scream.
Oh, yeah.
And I just sort of never wanted to go back to it, but I'm glad I've looked at it with my older eyes, as I said before, and I appreciate a lot of the score is just phenomenal. The practical effects are just insanely good for the time. Most of the acting is really good. I wish I had have experienced like the twist, as a twist.
Yeah.
And I definitely appreciate it. Yeah, and you can see where I love the campground, the campsite kind of setting. The campsite. What am I on about? Is it? What would you call it? What's it called?
Yeah, campsite.
Camp.
Camp.
Summer camp.
Summer camp. There you go. Yeah. I love the summer camp setting. I love the trees and the lake, and yeah, it's really cool. I do really like it. It's not scary at all for me, but I don't think I was scared of it when I first saw it. But really good film, really good, solid film for a first of a franchise as well. I do prefer the later entries, I've got to be honest, but yeah, it's a good film. I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
Nice. Yeah. James?
Sorry, just before I carry on with this.
Don't slag off Adrian King again, please.
No, I'm not. She's an enemy of the podcast. I don't want to make any more enemies. Yeah. No, I was going to say, I completely forgot to bring up this point, but do you remember, Dan, when we were watching this film with our cousin one night, and he had never experienced the twist at the end, and we were watching it downstairs, and my nan was asleep. Me and Dan were like, oh yeah, like keep watching it and stuff like that, and we knew Jason was about to jump out the lake. And as he did, I think we both like said boo or like made him jump, and he screamed the house down, and my nan woke up and she started effing and blinded. She was like, fucking hell, Hayden, what are you doing?
Sent him to bed.
Sent him to bed, and it was me and you got to stay up and be like, he's fucking...
I know, he's just a pussy.
Oh god, it's so
we love you, cuz. We love you.
Back to this is actually I went into watching this last night thinking it's actually my favourite of like all of them, and it's so creepy. The music's amazing. It's the first time. I love the fact Jason's not in it. I really like that.
Yeah.
I really like all the creepy elements of it. But I think the last third of it, when it's just Alice and Mrs. Voorhees farting around for like a good 20 minutes, I was a bit like, it had so much potential and it was so good up to that point. And then it just kind of loses
a lot of momentum at that point.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But I'll give it an 8 out of 10 because I think it's probably my second favourite of the lot at this point.
Nice.
Like, we're one film in, so...
Yeah, I think this is an amazing film. I think it's become cool to hate on this film in recent times and like call it overrated and slow and all that. But like, I was hooked watching it. I watched it last year on last year's Friday the 13th, and I was like, oh my god, I forgot how amazing it was. And when I watched it again on this year's Friday the 13th for this podcast, I thought, oh god, it was just brilliant. I used to generally skip it and go straight to the Jason films because, you know, they're loads of fun. So I used to think, who can be bothered with this first one? I did forget how scary it can be. There's like moments of tension that are on par with Halloween, like I mentioned earlier. Like the times that Marcy and Brenda are in the outhouse and the little boy calling for help, and just Betsy Palmer in general.
Yeah.
And like the fear that I get that knowing Alice is the last person at the camp and she doesn't know, I just think, oh god. And yeah, the effects all still look awesome. We've gushed over them. I think, yeah, they holds up. I'd give this out of 5. I'd give it 4.5. Yeah, 4.5.
Yeah, nice.
Yes, so we will be back next episode for Friday the 13th, part 2. How are you feeling about that one?
Excited.
I'm buzzing because I've not seen it, so I'm like... I've seen clips from it, obviously, but I've never sat and watched it. And, yeah, I wonder if it'll change my opinion of my favourite one. We'll see.
Yeah.
Your rankings, yeah. I watched it last week, actually, and I've already made my notes and everything in prep for the podcast, but I'm going to watch it again and sit down and not have to write anything. So
yeah.
Looking forward to that, actually.
That's kind of what I want. I wanted to watch this one and not make any notes. I got like so hooked into it yesterday. But
that's how I watch everyone. I can't make notes. Just can't do it.
Do you not make notes while you do it?
No, I just freestyle.
I might change it up then. Freestyle.
Yeah, so, right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll see you next time for Friday the 13th, part 2.
Yeah.
This has been Dark Talk. Goodbye and good night.
Bye.
Au revoir.